Yo, what's poppin', boys? It's your boy Mill, aka Tate Profit, and I'm coming to you guys with a quick little trade recap. I wanna start doing recaps for specific days, like where there's a specific lesson that I learned or a pattern that I identified but wasn't able to, what's the word? Wasn't able to act on, actively with the knowledge that I gained from obviously recognizing that it's a pattern. But I do think it would be good for me to just, go over certain trades and stuff, like whether it be a win or a loss, there's just a reason for me to go over certain trades and for me to have, be able to look at how I identified and how I analyzed the trade I took and the lesson that I wanted to learn from it. So, hope y'all follow with the music too. But so basically, I'm starting on the daily time frame. Right now, we're looking at MES. I'll also go to M&Q. I forgot I had it right here. I already had it up, but. So obviously it was a long day. You know what I'm saying? Longs is what we was looking for. So my analysis coming into the morning, right? So I'll just start on the 4 hour. The first thing I seen was these two gaps right here, which I placed. I seen those two gaps right there, and I instantly thought, okay, I would love to see market push into here, sweep whatever highs are right before the gap or inside of the gap. I mean, not highs, lows that are inside of the gap. And that's exactly what market did. We had a very bearish market structure after our market open. And then we came and we were creating a 5 minute. And this just shows like the impatience I was having today a little bit. Like even before the 5 minute, I'm looking on the 15, my fault. What am I talking about? There we go. So there's the 5, right? So we tap into it, right? And don't forget, once we form a 5 minute gap in the direction that I want, that I think market is going, that's the 5 minute gap that I'm looking at. So I then scale to the 1 minute and 3 minute time frames to be able to is this shit gonna give me an ad? Okay, good. No ad. Fire. That's what I'm talking about. But here, like, even before I give you guys analysis, you can see the trade, obviously. You can see this is the trade that I took, right? And you might be wondering, oh, bro, like, low-key looks like you hit TP. Right? Looks like I hit TP. So this is what happened today. So today we came into the market. Basically, I trade on my funded futures, and they have a thing where basically, so after the first month of you paying for your, like, you pay for your eval, right, on a core account. Now it's the flex account. If you pay for an eval, basically, if you renew it after 1 month, and I know some of you might be like, why are you taking a month to pass the eval? I kind of changed the way I was trading. I was the type of like person that would like, I'm probably gonna pass it in 2 to 4 days, an eval in 2 to 4 days, or I'm gonna fail that bitch in like 2 to 5 days, 2 to 7 days. And I honestly passed a lot of evals because of it, and even got my first couple payouts because of it. But it's just I have something against like that type of structure that I was presenting. Like, I don't think that's what I want to do as a trader. Like, I think I kind of needed to slow down, like de-risk. Now I risk only $500 per trade. But what happened was, basically, once you get the first month of this eval, right, after you pay for your second month, which is your first renewal, like renewing that account, because it's a monthly subscription if you don't pass or fail it. And I always believe like it's just better to fail it. So listen, if you pay for the first, I guess it kind of still doesn't make any sense now that I'm thinking about it. When you pay for the first account, it only makes sense if you're up in profit. Like if you're up closer to passing the eval, then it makes sense to pay again the $77, because it's like, okay, you've got another eval and you're up in profit. Basically, the way I found out is I got an email them saying I had a renewal, and basically you have 1 month to use your free reset. So I decided, like, okay, I think I'm about to be coming on the second round go where like they would be charging me and I would be losing that reset, because the reset is only valid for a month. Also, I'm talking so much. But basically, I upped my risk from $500 to $750, which was my original risk before I de-risked back down to $500. And that messed with me somewhat psychologically, because what I did basically was I was in this trade and my stop loss was set at $750. But when I got to $500, I exited the trade just because it was like, okay, like I don't really see any type of pushing coming from now, but it didn't hit my stop loss and I left the trade. Right now, if you want me to explain my strategy to you, just so you're understanding, like I'll give it to you step by step. It's one of PB trading systems. I just kind of also use the original strategy that I learned, which was TJR strategy. Okay, so basically I go on the 1 hour and 4 hour time frames. Obviously I have some sort of a daily bias for just watching market every single day, but I go to the 1 hour and 4 hour time frames and I find gaps. I find the most recent bullish and bearish gaps. And I also do consider most recent as in like most recent that we're tapping into. So if we had gaps to the left of us that are from a move down, I'm also focusing on the most recent ones that we got tapped into. And basically what I'm doing is I'm observing these gaps on the 1 hour and 4 hour time frame, just being aware of when the candle closes. And then what I'm doing is I'm watching on these higher time frames for the candle flip almost, but not really. I just want to see what gaps are being respected and disrespected to give me somewhat of a bias for the day, right? And then what I do is once I see a gap get hit, sweep whatever lows are inside that gap, and then respect that gap. Don't sell through or close completely through the gap. Don't make an inversion out of the gap. I then scale to the 15 and 5 minute, and then I look for gaps to be formed out of that gap. So this is the 4 hour, 1 hour gap that I'm looking at, and I'm waiting for something to be I'm waiting for a 5 or 15 minute gap to be formed out of that gap. Now we did have a gap on the 15 minute, very small gap. And honestly, if I was using the 15-minute gap, I wouldn't have entered this trade at all, I'm pretty sure. But I seen it on the 5 minute first. I seen this first gap get to form, right? So we tapped into it, but I'm looking, once I get a tap into it, I scale to the 1 and 3 minute, and then I look for an inverse out of the gap. I didn't get that. So, right, if I'm looking on the 1 and 3 minute, once we had this first tap in, this was the inverse that I was trying to get. Once this 1 minute inverse, this is when I wanted to get in. As you could see, the candle just happened to push really far up, and then I didn't enter instantly. I kind of got a bad fill. Like I definitely entered on the candle closure, but I got a bad fill. Whatever. Trade of 8. So yeah, I entered the trade, and then what I did was my stop loss. Like there's a reason for the things I'm doing. It was a decent trade for me to take. It's just I fucked up by not continuing to follow my plan. Like I felt some type of way because I was 750. I seen 500 and just was like, all right, bet I'm out. Like, just like, but if that was $500 I was risking, I would have just sat like this, and just watched it hit my stop loss and then not care as much. Like, the 500 hurt more. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I need to be more consistent and aware of my risk. Like, there's no reason that me just psychologically thinking like, okay, I'm gonna risk $250 more just to get these evals, like, moving a little bit more, which you have to understand, everything I passed before I de-risk, I was risking $750 to $1,000 every trade. So it's like, like how did I, it's like how did that happen? Did I get a 3 minute fair value gap formed? But that's what I'm saying. It doesn't even matter because my strategy works, and this is the crazy part. Okay, I went for this is a 1-to-1 right here, so like I might have not hit, and like you have to understand, even if this does tap my entry, my take profit, like you have to close positions by this time, so like it's okay. I would have closed and like maybe break even, or maybe I waited for once this internal high to get swept. Like I don't know, whatever. But that's not the point. The point is the psychology. Like the trade, the chart doesn't even actually matter, like my strategy, because I fucked up mentally before I did anything else. Like before I took my trade, before I I followed everything. And even more so, if I go to MES, this trade hit, I just decided over discretion that I thought NQ would be the best place to take the trade. Look at the trade on ES, hit. But that's discretion, okay? I have to see the differences of what I seen, that like what made me not enter. I realized that ES was a lot more bullish than NQ. Like NQ wanted to be bullish, but it wasn't as like it wasn't as like volatile almost in a way, even though it's fucking MNQ. Like if you look on the 5-minute, but like MES's 5-minute just like it just looks a little bit better, and I should have thought about that. And yeah, that was the trade, man, and I'm gonna write it down. Thankfully I made this video so I can freaking like, you know, look back on it. But this was the trade, dog. So it's like, it wasn't a bad day. I learned something, but it's just like, I'm doing a challenge where basically I have 21 days, right? And in those 21 days, I have a checkbox for each of those 21 days, and I just want to see the results of my mentality, my heart posture, my mindset, and even P&L and my statistics, my percentage, my win rate. If I was to on to a T, so that means no exceptions, like no little mistakes, and I'm like, oh, I still followed my plan. Like, I mean, exactly, like to the point where I fucking restarted the list like 16 times because it's just like, not 16 times, that's exaggerating, like 3 times, because it's like I want these results to be authentic. I want them to, you know, not have no bias to them. I want them to be real. So it's like, if I wake up a couple minutes late, like, no, it doesn't count. If I do this at night, like, and I'm not supposed to, it doesn't count. Like, I start everything over. So like, I'm on day 0, and I've been doing it for like a week or 2 weeks. You know, and I'm not mad. I'm pressed for sure. Like, cause it's like, the strategy didn't fail me. I failed this time. The strategy didn't do anything. Like, nothing about the strategy needs to change. It's not like this, that. Even my analysis for the market was perfect. Was not perfect, but was decent enough to win a trade, you know? But like, my psychology, like, that's the part that it's flipped now. Like, at first it was trading and psychology was cool. No, my fault. At first it was my psychology was fucked up and trading was okay. Now trading's okay and my psychology is fucked up. But that's my analysis for the day. I don't know how loud the jazz music is. I hope it's not too much. It's not copyright, so I'm not worried about that. But you guys have a good day. That was my analysis for the day. So you guys just want to see. I think my P&Ls ended up being, I'm gonna move it over here so I can check real quick. I'm pretty sure my P&Ls for the day, I don't even know if the trade copy traded, honestly, bro. If you want me to keep it a full bean with you. Account summary. Yeah, they did copy trade today, but you didn't want to copy trade on the freaking win. So yeah, boys, I basically lost around $490. So I lost like 1.5K. And these are evals, so don't get it twisted. But I lost 1.5K. That shit's serious to me. So yeah, boys, that is what happened. That was the trade for the day. Game's not over, bro. We're still bullish on the 4-hour, baby. So thank you guys for watching. That was my trade today. That was what I learned from it. Just to mention before I let you guys go, a couple things that I think I could do on it, or that I would recommend for you to do, is like, first of all, don't strategy hop. Second of all, focus on increasing your conviction in your strategy before you start questioning your strategy, you know. Third of all, just recognize how big psychology really is, because like, my trading is improving. My trading is getting very good. Like, my ability to follow my system technically on a technical analysis basis, like, is very good. It's increased. I've seen, like, for how long I've been trading, I can see the difference. But the psychology is not something that ever stops to just be like, obviously I think there's levels where it becomes a lot easier, but like, you know what I'm saying, I'm still becoming a profitable trader, so like, it's not there in stone. So like, it can creep back on you. So don't get too comfortable, is like all I would say. But thank you guys for watching. It's Tate Profit. It's your boy Tamil. I'll catch you boys later.